Support for NPR and the following message come from Vimeo Create. You don't have to be an expert to create high-quality videos for your business. Add clips, pick a template, and let the smart tools of Vimeo Create handle the rest. More at vimeo.com/create.
Public radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're broadcasting this week from the Fugitives from Justice Division here at Car Talk Plaza. Now, apparently, this is just a rumor, but I think
it seems true, though.
We do have some verification. Our esteemed producer, Dougie Berman, has fled the country in an effort to avoid prosecution. Now, in case you missed it, a few months ago, I don't remember exactly how long ago, Dougie was in Washington, D.C., and he was drinking coffee in the subway. In the metro.
Which is not allowed.
Not allowed. I mean, I think he was drinking coffee and had a bagel in his other hand. Anyway, he was accosted by the subway police, and taking advantage of a diversion, he managed to elude the police by jumping onto a passing subway train. Unfortunately, the doors are already closed.
He got hurt, but he got in.
He got hurt bad. And anyway, he was able to limp away and somehow has remained on the lam up here in our fair city ever since. And I guess he must have gotten word that the dragnet was closing in on him.
Oh, Interpol was after him.
I think so.
I heard. I mean, someone came to my house and discussed it.
Well, he has fled south of the border to sunny Mexico.
I should have known something was up when he tried to sell me his pickup truck for $50.
Come back, Dougie. All is forgiven. We're your friends. We'll help you.
That reward money means nothing. We would never accept reward money. Hey, I got a good piece of mail here. Something that a lot of people don't understand is in this letter from Bonnie Nixon from Bath, Ohio.
Yeah?
As an art major, I worked my way through college.
It isn't art.
I said art. Art.
No, you didn't.
I didn't.
No.
As an art major.
Yes, very good.
As an art major, I worked my way through college, which means that car ownership was an unthinkable luxury at the time. Nevertheless, my kindly old landlord steered me toward his brother's 61 Comet, which in 1971 I bought for $75. My 61 Comet was a piece of junk, 4-ball tires, but it ran. And when it didn't run, I walked. I'd read up on spark plugs, alternators, or whatever, and then go about in the backyard and fix the car all by myself. I remember the year my family bought me a new battery for Christmas.
What thought?
How nice, huh?
Yes.
Now, here it is. Get this. The problem with my family is that they didn't understand the BHAM theory, B-H-A-M, the black hole of automotive metaphysics theory. Get this. The black hole of automotive metaphysics theory postulates that the car universe favors the young and the fast and despises the old and the slow, and that this universe is inhabited by unkind spirits or evil twins who lie dormant for many years until a car owner does something that is not 100% essential to the life of a junker. For example, body work.
Oh, yeah.
Or buying new tires.
Mm-hmm.
Any non-essential, and now you know that this has happened to you, any non-essential expenditure creates a rip between the two universes, awakens the evil twin, and I can't read the rest, angers him, I'll say.
Oh, yes, okay.
The twin says, well, since she can afford a paint job, let's see if she can afford a brake job, a clutch, and a new transmission. You know this is true. Awakened, these evil spirits will force a car owner to choose between the junkyard or pouring endless sums into the black hole of auto repair. I once proved the BHAM theory once in the parking lot at the grocery store. An insured motorist backed into the 61 Comet and smushed in the door. He got out, apologized, pulled out his wallet, and said, "How much do you think it will cost to have the door fixed?" "Are you nuts?" I said to him. "Fix this piece of junk? Forget it." He thanked me, and we drove off. Appeased, the car gods slept for 3 years. The Comet ran 80% of the time for 4 years. The only money I put into it was $25 for a rebuilt starter. You guys may be right about art majors, but do you think I care what a couple of grease monkeys from Boston have to say about my car? Bonnie Vixen, Bath, Ohio.
BHAM, huh?
Let me get this right. The black hole of automotive metaphysics. It's absolutely true.
Well, it is.
As soon as you do an unessential thing to the car, that's why. See, I guess I didn't really understand the theory, but you know that's the theory that I live by.
Oh, yes, we too. If you want to call us with your question about your car or your story about the automotive gods, our number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, this is Joyce from Atlanta.
What's up, Joyce?
Today I have a question. Actually, it's not a question. I need mediators, and you guys are the perfect guys to do this.
Yeah, we're honest, we're sincere, and we tell it like it is.
And non-caring.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're sincere and not caring. Well, my boyfriend said he's going to listen to what you say. So,
Okay.
Here's the question. He says that when he's got a Taurus, and he says when you stop the car, that you should put your foot on the brake, put the car in park, and then put the parking brake on before you take your foot off the regular brake.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he says that will help keep the transmission longer.
This is at red lights?
No, when you're parking the car.
When you're parking for the day.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your position?
My position is you put your foot on the brake,
Yeah.
you put into park,
Mm-hmm.
and who cares if your foot's on the brake or not? You put on the parking brake.
Do whatever you want.
Right.
Ah, I see.
That's my position.
That's your position.
Right.
Okay. And now, how close are you with this boyfriend? I mean,
Pretty close.
We're tight here.
Tight, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, your relationship is strong.
Strong, yes.
So,
Uh-oh.
if one of you is shown to be a complete moron on this one,
Uh-huh.
it's not going to affect how you feel about each other.
No.
I mean, you already know he's a moron, so
Or how you feel about us?
Right.
yeah, this is no big deal, actually.
Okay.
But technically,
Technically, he's
your,
right.
your boyfriend's right.
Okay. So we'll help keep the transmission longer.
Well,
No?
Not necessarily.
see, I mean, he's right, but it's so insignificant.
Okay. If he's going to be neurotic, I can let him be neurotic.
If you're
about
going to
that.
be anal retentive about
Right.
this, then yes, he's right. And the only time it would really matter is if you were on a rather steep hill. You might have trouble getting it out of park
Okay.
if you didn't do it his way.
Okay.
And if you did do it his way, you wouldn't have trouble. The reason is that you would be then using the transmission as sort of a backup, as opposed to the primary means of holding the car from rolling.
Okay. All right. Now, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
When the car is in the garage, the trunk has to be open because we got to air out the trunk. Because when he was growing up in England, they had damp weather there. So it doesn't matter if it's raining here or not. We got to keep the trunk open in
This
the car.
guy is a screwball, Joyce. Get rid of him, will you? Come on, what's with him?
Air it out, eh?
We got to air it out, yeah.
And has he already removed the light bulb that's in there so he doesn't
Yes, he
drain the
has.
battery? Sure, he's done that.
Yes, he did.
So in jolly old England, because it's so damp, you open up the trunk,
Right.
The boot.
or the boot as we call it.
Uh-huh. And you air it out at night, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
so
think you can
something-
safely tell him that's not really necessary here in this world.
Okay. But I don't think that's going to change.
Well, it
So-
works out perfectly because he wins on one and you win on the other. I mean, what could be better
That's
than this?
great.
Okay.
Tell him he can do either one. He can either leave the trunk open, or he can go through his funny little machinations when he parks the car, but not both.
Okay.
And let him pick. Let him do
Oh,
either
that-
one, because neither one of them makes any difference to anything in the world.
Okay. Well, that'll be a hard choice for him.
But it does say something about this guy,
And what's that?
that he's a little bit...
Strange.
Well, here's why I bring this up. Because you sound like a light-hearted, devil-may-care, have a good time kind of person. And he sounds like a control freak and a kind of... I don't know, what's the word? He's a neurotic. That's the word. He's neurotic.
He's wacko.
And I'm curious how the two of you, A, got together in the first place, and managed... How long has he been your boyfriend? Is this like a
About
day or
ye-
two?
About a year.
A year?
Well, when he gets on his neuroses, I just leave the room. Just go somewhere else.
Ah, so you
Now, he won't
admit...
let me do the laundry because I might do it wrong.
Well, Count your blessings, Joyce.
Right, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
He hangs the laundry up in the kitchen.
Yeah, see if you can get him to think about cooking the same way and doing dishes.
No, we don't want to eat what he eats.
Oh, that's right. He's British.
Yeah. He makes tuna fish with jalapenos, salsa, mayonnaise, mustard, and hot peppers.
Jeez,
over
that sounds
pasta.
good, actually.
Yeah.
It does?
Better than that junk that he's been eating over in the old country. I mean, do you ever eat that weird food that the Brits eat?
No.
Oh, good God.
And he
Have
doesn't know
a
how to
kidney
cook,
pie
so-
someday if you really want to barf. Joyce, reconsider everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye.
Yeah, we busted up another relationship.
I think it's wrong. I mean, they're headed down the wrong road.
You think so, eh?
I do.
She has a moral obligation to marry this guy and re-educate him.
Perhaps.
Right? I mean, for the
Perhaps.
sake of the rest of the world and to make sure that their progeny are level-headed
I mean, we
and not wackos.
We had relations, I'll call them. Her name was Louise, and his name was Vinny or Jimmy, depending on...
We've discussed him before.
I've discussed it once before.
Depending upon local statutes.
And their way of communicating was Louise would, "Hi, Louise," she'd say, "How are you?" And she'd say, "I'm fine. It's really been a wonderful day. I got up early this morning." And Jimmy would say, "Louise, you didn't get up that early." She says, "I got up at 7 o'clock. No, it was 7:15, Louise. She says, "Oh, and then I went to the supermarket." Louise, it wasn't a supermarket. It was just a small store. Everything she said, he disagreed, contradicted. Now, if this guy is doing this now and these people are in their 18s...
But to be fair, everything he said
was right.
she contradicted, too, because she had to get into the act.
Oh, of course. But
Yeah.
is that any way to live?
Is it?
I don't know.
They lived to be in their 90s. By fighting all the time. Well, it gets your juices flowing. Keeps the blood pressure up where it's supposed to be. 280 over 170. 1-888 Talk or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is John from Durham.
John.
Which Durham is that?
Durham, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
So what's up, John?
Recently, I was hearing a loud grinding sound from my brakes.
Yeah.
So I brought my Honda Accord into my local Honda guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, of course, it needs some brake work, which he did. And so I got the car back, and what was happening was when I applied the brakes and was going from decelerating from about 20 miles per hour, I would hear a bump, 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 bump. As I got slower, it would get slower.
Yeah.
So I assumed that they had done something wrong and that it was rubbing against something as the wheel was spinning.
Mm-hmm.
And
So it's a
This a Latin rhythm?
yeah,
I like it.
exactly.
This is a West Side Story, wasn't it?
In fact,
What?
I could even feel it in the brake pedal
Wait,
Yeah.
this happened after they did the brake work.
after they did the brake.
Ah, okay.
And it was so noticeable that friends in the car would say,
What
"Hey,
the heck is that?"
What the heck? Who's that drummer there?"
Yeah.
So I brought it back, and they called me a couple hours later and said, "Hey, we let Bubba take it for a spin, and there was no noise. There was nothing." And I said, that can't be.
Could you actually hear over the air over the telephone the parenthetical "you moron"? I mean, they always try to make you feel like you're such a jerk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I felt. And so I said, "Look, I'd like you guys to check again because I know there was this thing. Other people mentioned it."
Did it happen to you every time you stepped on the brake?
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
So then he said, "Okay, I'll take it out for a spin and try it." And then he called back and he said, "Still nothing." And then I went and picked up the car, and indeed there was nothing. So my question is, what could they have done originally that was so stupid and dumb that they were embarrassed to tell me what it was, and they actually lied to me? Because I know that there was something seriously wrong. That I could
Well,
even
this
feel in
is
the brake pedal.
a huge ethical question that confronts
You're asking us to tell you
mechanics
this?
of all kinds,
Yeah.
and it has since the beginning of time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't charge me, to look at it the second time.
Is it better to admit complete incompetence and stupidity
Yeah.
in saying that they left a bolt off one of the calipers, which is probably what they did.
Uh-huh.
Or to make you think
That you're a complete idiot.
that you're a
what they-
nutcase
Yeah.
by imagining a noise that no one else in the universe could possibly have heard because it isn't there.
Although you did have witnesses.
I had witnesses.
Yeah, but I bet you not one of them would stand up in a court of law.
Is this standard ethical practice among mechanics?
It
that
is
what you're
standard
telling
ethical
me?
practice among men
No, I'll tell
to
you.
never admit that you have actually made a mistake.
If they had told you that they left a bolt loose,
Right.
number one, you would never go back there again
course
because
not.
they made a mistake on something as important as your brakes.
Right.
By doing what they did, they have planted a seed of doubt in your head.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Soon, and you would never forget, first of all, if they had told you they left a bolt loose, you would never have forgotten that and would have told everyone that you know not to go there.
Don't ever
because
go to this
they left
guy.
a bolt loose
Right.
on one of your calipers.
Right.
My wheel could have fallen off. Who knows what would have happened?
Sooner or later, you will forget the entire thing. And more importantly, you won't tell anybody
Right.
because there's nothing to tell.
Is that what would cause the noise?
It certainly
Well, it
could.
certainly could. Sure.
You could
And
have
you'd feel it in the brake pedal, like.
yeah, or pads that were installed incorrectly.
Or maybe they only put 3 pads in instead of 4. I mean, who knows?
Or they could have left the wheel nuts loose. I mean, any number of things could cause the noise you had.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I like the Latin rhythm, though. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Very good.
It wasn't syncopated, but it definitely had a good beat to it.
Well, don't go back there.
Okay.
Good luck, John.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Tommy, it's time to find out if you remember last week's puzzler. And to do that, I have to probe the depths of your mind, the deep reaches of your synapses.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So hand me the rubber gloves and the gas mask.
We're going to be back in just about a minute.
What are these thoughts? Where are they coming from in parking lots? Hear the fluorescent lights humming off key. How can it be that there's no place to park? Weeping and driving. How am I supposed to feel? Somebody tell me what's wrong.
And even though jurors everywhere beg to be sequestered whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
This message comes from Car Talk and NPR sponsor BetterHelp, a truly affordable online counseling service. Fill out a questionnaire online and get matched with a licensed counselor best suited to your mental health needs. Whether it's depression, anxiety, or trauma, BetterHelp will help you overcome what stands in the way of your happiness. Learn more at BetterHelp.com and get 10% off your first month with promo code CARTALK. BetterHelp. Get help anytime, anywhere. This message comes from Car Talk and NPR sponsor Headspace. Life can be stressful, but 2020 has challenged even the most difficult times of life. You need stress relief that goes beyond quick fixes? That's Headspace. Headspace is your daily dose of mindfulness in the form of guided meditations in an easy-to-use app. Overwhelmed? Headspace has a 3-minute SOS meditation for you. Go to headspace.com/cartalk for a free month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation.
Since the 1980s, hip-hop and America's prisons have grown side by side.
And we're going to investigate this connection to see how it lifts us up and holds us down.
Hip-hop is talking about what we live, trying to live the American dream, failing at the American dream.
I'm Sydney Madden.
I'm Rodney Carmichael. Listen now to the Louder Than a Riot podcast from NPR Music.
Where we trace the collision of rhyme and punishment in America.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and, of course, the answer to last week's puzzler.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, Tommy and I took a trip up north to see the foliage, and while we were way up north there, we decided to visit our senior web lackey, Doug Mayer, who lives way up in the boondocks with his ice pick and his flock of sheep and all that. And while we were sitting around, he says, you know, guys, there's a road right near my house that runs directly north and south. We said, well, sure, that's no big deal. And he says, well, I can put my car on this road and point it north, drive a mile, and when I'm done, I'm a mile south of where I started. And we said, get out.
Yeah.
He says, I'll show you. And he does. And the question was very simply, How does he do it? Now, no.
I mean, if you didn't get the answer,
No,
when you do hear it, what are your first words are probably going to be? Well, I mean, I couldn't believe that was the answer, but evidently it is.
Well, you know what's going to throw some people because they're
living up north, Arctic
and they
Circle.
start thinking about polar bears. And if you were in the North Pole, you could go any place and you'd be south of where you were.
Exactly.
But we know nobody lives at the North Pole,
right?
Especially Doug Mayer. He doesn't live up in the. It's close. It's real close. But no one lives in the North Pole. So you got to get that out of your mind.
You know, if the rentals were cheap, he would live in the North Pole.
And how does he do it? everyone. All right, forget it.
All right. How does he do it? He puts it in reverse
and drives back.
Oh, man, that is bogus. I mean, you call that a puzzler?
Well, you know,
it actually, I mean, as I think about it, it's so trivial that I'll bet a lot of people didn't get it.
I'm sure a lot of people didn't get it.
I'm sure a lot of people didn't.
Yeah, our engineer, Ted Curry, didn't get it last week. And
he never gets anything.
Well, he knows which buttons to push.
No.
Not really. And he's hanging his head in shame this week. Anyway, who's our winner?
The winner is Catherine Chung from, of all places, Honolulu, Hawaii.
Wow.
And for having her answer selected at random from the coconut husk full of correct answers that we got, Catherine's going to get a $25 gift certificate to the Shameless Commerce Division, which is at cartalk.com. With that gift certificate, she can buy a copy of one of our CDs, either the Disrespectful Car Songs collection or the collection of classics called The Hatchback of Notre Dame. Did you know there's actually a call from outer space on that CD?
Not counting Dave from Bemidji, you mean? Anyway,
all right, there's two calls from outer space.
We'll have a brand new puzzler coming up in the third half of the show today, so hold on to your easy chair. In the meantime, you can call us at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, who's this?
This is Dr. Brindlinger in Happy Valley, Oregon.
What's your name again?
Dr. Brindlinger.
Brindlinger.
Yeah, I-R-V.
Brindlinger.
Good, yeah.
Got it. Brindlinger.
Yeah.
We'll just call you Doc.
And what, pray tell, are you a doctor of?
Oh, teach theology and church history.
Oh, so you are a Ph.D. doctor.
Yeah, right. Not the cutting kind.
Well, you know, we've had lots and lots of mail and phone calls from people saying that you PhDs have got some nerve calling yourselves doctor.
I think the only one entitled to that honor are the guys that wield the scalpels.
Well, I'm not so sure.
Guys and women.
As you know, I too.
I too?
I also am a doctor.
Okay, how come?
And I think that's how this whole thing started. I made believe one day that I was Dr. Magliozzi.
Okay.
And my brother said, Doctor this! He said, you don't deserve that title because you can't cut someone open.
That's good.
He said, watch me.
I'm gonna cut you open. Anyway, Doc, what's up?
Hey, well, listen, I gave my daughter an 81 Mustang a few years ago. It was actually a car that I had gotten from a friend who bought it when it was new. Then it was totaled, so I rebuilt the rear end and gave it to her. So she's been driving it about 3.5 years. Mm-hmm. I have never been able to get heat out of the heater. And, you know, the first thing I would do is put a thermostat in it, and I've done that twice. The car doesn't live here, and so I can't road test it, so I just try things, and then she reports back whether it's better.
Yeah.
So just a few days ago, I tried the thermostat again, thinking, well, maybe the last one wasn't good. And since I had the car, I flushed the heater core.
Yeah.
And I get good flow through the heater core, but I'm still not getting heat. So
you're so close. You are so close.
That's what I think, but what can it be?
Well, you can get good flow through the heater core without getting heat. Okay. If the heater core is covered with a nice insulating layer of, what's the technical word?
Crud.
Crud. Right.
Okay.
That's the word. I was groping for it.
Yeah.
So if the inside of in order for the heater core to work, the hot water passes through it, but the heat has to get transferred from the water to the metal core.
Yes.
And then the air passes through the core and makes heat in the car. But if there's an insulating layer of crud between the water and the metal of the core, then it doesn't work too well. So I suspect, considering it's an 81, that heater core is plugged up, not in the traditional sense that it impedes the flow.
Plugged up on the outside.
No,
it's plugged up on the inside.
On the inside. And I think if you put a new heater core in, you'll have heat galore.
Okay.
So some weekend,
Okay.
Yeah.
it probably costs you less than $50 to buy it.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
And it's a nice Saturday.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday project. Yeah.
Do it on a warm Saturday.
A warm Saturday, right.
Okay.
Do it soon.
Hey,
Good luck.
thanks for calling, Doc.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Linda, and I live in Cleveland Heights.
Hi, Linda.
And I have an 86 Toyota Camry, stick shift. Around a month ago, it started to make a vibrational sound when I started it in the morning, and by the time I got to work, it had warmed out of it. It generally would take a couple of minutes. So I took it to Metro Toyota, and they kept it 2 nights because it makes the noise in the morning. And I called and I said, well, what's happening? And they said, well, we hear the noise, and they couldn't figure out what it was. Finally, after the second day, they said they took the distributor cap off, put it back on again, and it didn't make the noise. Baloney. It made the noise. It continues to make the noise. And I've never had anything like this happen with the cars that I've driven where the people who supposedly should know it can't figure it out. We tape recorded the sound if you'd like to listen.
Oh!
We were just about to ask you if we could hear this sound. If there was any way we could hear this sound.
Any way in the annals of technology, but
let's hear the noise.
So far.
You'll hear the car begin, and then the engine, you hear the engine, the noise stops, and then it continues again. So here goes.
I love it.
We're ready.
Okay.
You tell this is going to be high tech. That's great.
What the hell is that?
It sounds like a machine gun.
No, it's driving me nuts.
But the noise is a rat-a-tat-tat noise.
It's like a...
I heard it. I have no idea what it was, though.
But it's a...
Correct.
Is that the noise?
That's the noise.
Okay, I just want to make sure I can reproduce it so I can ask some of the guys at the shop.
I'm going to leave my car there forever so that they can listen to the noise. I'm tempted to send them the tape.
They haven't heard the noise, obviously.
They did.
Oh, they did hear the noise?
And the only thing that they did was remove the distributor cap, and when I called to find out what else they possibly ruled in or out, they said, well, maybe it was the timer belt idler pulley.
No.
Whatever that is.
It could be. The timing belt, there are 2 wheels that the timing belt goes around. One of them is just an idler pulley, and the other one is, in fact, a tensioner. And it could be that. The other possibility, of course, is that it's one of the regular belts making noise. I first thought it was valve train noise.
Sounded metallic to me, I have to say.
Yes,
No, but it isn't. It's yee.
I don't know. I think it sounds metallic to you too, Linda, huh?
I describe it as a metallic sound, yeah.
I think I know what it is. I think you need a water pump.
Gee.
The water pump is driven by the timing belt in this car. And why it chooses to make noise in the morning is that it's been sitting in one position all night. Then you start it up, and the impeller is probably rattling around in there because the bearings are gone, and then it goes away.
And it might lubricate itself as you use it more.
But it's going to get worse and worse as time goes on, and eventually it's going to break the belt.
But if these guys heard that noise and they had that car right in front of
But they
them,
only heard it for 4 seconds.
Yeah, but they kept it for 2 days, so they heard it
For 8 seconds.
They heard it on at least 3 separate occasions because they listened to it and then let the car, get cold again, listened to it again, kept it overnight, heard it the 3rd time, which is then when they played with the distributor cap.
Yeah, but
they said it was fixed.
play it for us again, Linda. I kind of liked it.
It is. No, but it is hard to identify a noise that you can only hear for a few seconds. Because, first of all, you have to know, even before it starts, where to listen.
I think it's going for 4 minutes now before it warms out of it.
Play it again, Linda. I love it.
Okay, hang on a sec.
Okay.
How do I get it to play again?
Come on. This could have MTV possibilities. Here we go. Ready? An 86 Toyota Camry, stick shift.
Take two.
Blue.
See, it's the second. It was the.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
it took so long to get you.
No, that's good. Gee, that's wonderful.
It was the noise over. The basic noise that you hear is the engine running.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I hear it. It's wonderful.
And I still contend that it's the water pump.
Wonderful.
Good luck.
Thanks enough.
All right, Linda.
Great talking to you.
That's
Bye-bye.
the kind of call we want. Why can't we get more calls like that? That's good. We get these people who don't have any idea my car's making a funny noise. Linda brings the data with her.
Yeah, still we couldn't give her the answer. 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Mark Cather.
Mark?
Yeah,
Where you from?
I'm calling from Fort Rucker, Alabama.
Oh, so it's M-A-R-K.
Right? Why would it be different?
See? You don't even know why it would be different. See, if you were from, like, Beverly Hills, it would be...
M-A-R-Q-U-E.
Yeah.
Q-U-E, right.
Yeah, just like
Right.
junk with
But
a
only
Q.
the good salt of the earth folks that don't know all of these funny little things, like the people from Boston, I might add. We're just down to earth, salt of the earth, none of this fancy. I mean, just because we spell click and clack with a Q-U-E, I don't think that means anything.
Oh, no, that's bad news.
So where are you from again?
Fort Rucker, Alabama.
Oh, Fort Rucker.
Yeah, it's near Dothan. You might be able to find Dothan on the map.
Dothan?
It's in the southeast corner of the state.
Okay.
Southeast.
I'm
I
getting
know
my
where that
Rand
is.
McNally out right now. Okay, here we go. Okay, what's up, Mark?
Well, I don't really have a problem, but I've had a question about cars that's been bugging me since before I came in the Army. I've been having this question in my head for 14 years now.
Oh.
No kidding.
Go ahead.
A couple of mechanics where I used to work had once told me that you could put water down a carburetor while the engine's running to clean the deposits off the inside of the engine.
Yes,
And since then, I've done it.
Yeah.
And, it works.
it does.
They also told me you could sprinkle small amounts of rice, not minute rice, regular rice, down in the carburetor while it's running, and it'll do the same thing. And
Well, you can do the same thing with uncooked tapioca. So, well, the rice
I
thing.
like sesame seeds myself.
Well, if you remember, I don't know how long you've been listening to our show, but many years ago, not many years ago, we had a puzzler where someone had a car that was running poorly on the highway and losing power. And when she went to her filling station to get it repaired, the guy was looking at the contents of her shopping bag, and he
She
said,
had just come from the supermarket.
right. And he noticed something in there that reminded him of the fix he had read about to solve this problem. And what he had seen was a bag of walnuts. The car in question was a Toyota, but this could work for a lot of different cars, yours included, that build up a lot of deposits on the valve train. And what Toyota had devised a method of blasting these away with walnut shells. And the advantage of the walnut shells is that any of them left behind would merely get burned up and come out the tailpipe, just like rice would. So the
And
idea-
tapioca, we
and
might
tapioca.
add. Uncooked tapioca.
So the idea is that the rice would be somewhat, although I've never used the rice myself.
Yeah, but the theory is it's somewhat abrasive, and as it goes through, it's going to bounce around on the valves and clean up things. It's going to bounce around on spark plugs and
that's
clean
what
up
they said.
things.
Right, it's like sandblasting without the abrasive,
Right.
without the full abrasive nature of sand.
Right. And the question is how much of it is actually going to still be abrasive before it gets pulverized and burned up.
Well, if you buy like a box of Uncle Ben's converted rice, and you look under there are recipes for just boiled rice. There's a recipe for like rice Creole. Way down at the bottom, it tells you how much to put in for a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, or 8-cylinder engine. I think for an 8-cylinder, 1 full cup of rice is recommended.
Actually, I think you can make a 4-cylinder into a 6-cylinder. That's why it's called conversion. Uncle Ben's converted rice.
I mean,
actually, it's the other way around, isn't it? You can convert an 8 into a 7.
Personally, I don't think I'd recommend the rice only because I haven't tried it myself, but I've heard of it before. The water does work, in fact.
Yeah, I've tried it myself.
Yeah,
and that works pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know how well it works because you don't know if it would run all right if you hadn't done it.
I did notice the difference.
You did. It must have been running real bad, huh?
Yeah. Well, I was a lot younger then, and I had done some things to that engine. I probably built some stuff up on the inside, but after giving it this quick water treatment, Yeah, it actually
Yeah,
ran better.
I think on a modern engine, I'd be reluctant to do it because of the catalytic converter.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
I think that would be
particles would get in there and foul the catalyst, right?
They probably would, or begin to grow something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, don't forget, water is a product of the combustion.
No,
anyway.
not the water. The water's all right. The rice.
Oh, the rice. You're talking about the rice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the honeycomb thing is just about a little smaller than the size of a rice kernel.
They'd have to go through just right.
They have to go through just right. Yeah, it's just like going through the uprights. You know, you need a good spiral.
Right.
So I think I'd stay away from the rice and stick with the water.
Okay, great.
Thanks for your call, Mark.
Good luck, Mark.
Great, thanks, guys.
See you. Bye-bye.
Talk to you later.
All right, look, it's time for us to take a quick pause and let our stations pass on some important information.
Is the crux of that information, this show isn't our fault, folks? We tried to get rid of them.
Oh, I'm sure it is, but when we come back, we'll have more of your car questions and a brand new puzzler. It's just kind of quasi-automotive like last week's. So please stay tuned. We'll be back, you know?
Because reckless driving never gets you there, and through the rearview mirror, your life is becoming clear. Driving off alone makes it hard to take a stand, and no passengers will ride with you if you haven't got a plan. Well, it's such a long way, it's such a long way, until you're walking your own road.
And even though Scott Simon's psychiatrist visualizes another wing on his beach house whenever he hears us say it, this is NPR.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Wise, the smart way to move money around the world. Playing hide and seek is fun, but not when it comes to exchange rates. When you send, spend, or receive money internationally, you want to see that you're getting the real exchange rate. The Wise account always gives you the real rate when you send or spend between 55 currencies. You pay a low conversion fee and see everything up front. See what fairness in international finance feels like. Try Wise for free at wise.com/NPR.
Lauren Coe of Loco Kitchen went from pie-zaster.
It looked like a crime scene. All the berry juices were everywhere.
To pie master. She'll share tips based on years of baking delicious pies that are stunning works of art, too. Listen and subscribe to NPR's Life Kit.
Ha! We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and the new puzzler.
I just have to say that we had to take a short break there so that my brother could figure out how to unclarify a few things with the new puzzler. Well, people think you just pop in here and you give us the puzzler. There's a great deal of preparation involved in the unclarification process.
Indeed.
People don't understand that.
It ain't just obfuscating anymore.
No. It's clear unclarifying.
Well, it seems that there was this young gal who had a couple of pretty bad accidents, and her grandmother decided to give her an unusual gift. She gave her a large sum of money with which she was to buy a brand new Volvo. Nice, safe car.
Yeah.
The only condition being that when she got the car, Grandma wanted to see it to make sure that she didn't just take the money and go out and buy something like a Firebird.
Yeah, or a necklace.
Exactly.
A pearl necklace.
So on the first available Saturday, she decides to drive to Grandma's house, which is 120 miles away. And because she's not particularly eager to get there, she gets on the road. Of course, these kinds of puzzles always assume that her house is right on the highway, and so is Grandma's, and there's no time lost in accelerating. So that's understood.
And there's no friction.
And there's no friction
And
either,
there's a
right?
vacuum.
So she gets on the highway, and she sets in her brand new car, she sets the cruise control for 40 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And she drives the 120 miles to Grandma's house.
And does Grandma live right on the highway?
Grandma, right on the highway.
Yeah.
Right, exit 12.
I got it.
And so she sets it. In fact, this car has also a little computer that says it's a little thing that says your average speed is 40 miles an hour. She says, great.
Yeah.
So she gets there. You know, she doesn't want to spend too much time with Grandma because she starts asking about does she have any boyfriends and all this jazz, you know. So she hangs around for a little while, and she shows Grandma the car, and she decides to leave. And on the way back, she's eager to get back home because she wants to get to the tattoo parlor before it closes and all that. So she sets the cruise control for 60 miles an hour. And she travels the same road, the same 120 miles. And when she gets home, she gets into the house and she does a little figuring. She says, let me see. She said, I drove 120 miles up, 120 miles back. There was 240 miles, right? And 40 miles an hour up and 60 miles an hour back. So my average speed was 50 miles an hour. And it should have taken me, she's a very precise individual, 4.8 hours.
Oh.
But it took me 5.
Oh.
How can that be? Now, if you think you know the answer, write it on a postcard or the front or back of a $20 bill. Oh, you'd be surprised how many people have no idea.
Very good.
No, it is a very good puzzle.
Very good.
Trust me. Now, if you think you know the answer, write it on a postcard or on the back of a $20 bill or the front of a $20 bill. We don't really care.
We don't.
And send it to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our Fair City.
Matt 02238, or you can email your answer to us from cartalk.com. But right now, if you have a question about your car or anything, give us a call. The number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Stephanie calling from Harbor Springs, Michigan.
Hi, Stephanie.
Stephanie, is that with an F or a PH?
PH.
Woo! Good for you. From where?
From Harbor Springs, Michigan.
Harbor Springs.
Never heard of it, but we take your word for it.
Michigan.
It's way up there.
Way up
there.
It's a great place.
Oh, one
Yes.
of those peninsula people.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of. Okay.
All right, well, here's my problem. I've got a 1986 Subaru. Got the GL, the big station wagon kind.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well...
A big V8, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It came with four-wheel drive when I bought it used. But after I drove it around for a while, the rear drive shaft got all rusted, and one day it just fell out of the car.
It literally fell out of the car?
It fell out of the car.
Unnecessary. You left it off, right?
Well, sure. I mean, I wasn't going to stop in the road and go pick it up.
No, and besides, if it fell off, it couldn't have been any good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
You
I
did the
told my
right thing.
family, this part fell off. It doesn't have four-wheel drive anymore. They all kind of moaned with me about the expensive part, and we let it go. 2 weeks ago, I needed to drive downstate, and my mom gave me her car, and she took mine because I didn't think that it would make it. It has a little bit of a weak clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, in the course of one weekend, about 15 snowflakes fell out of the sky, and she decided that she needed to put it in four-wheel drive or else she'd be in an accident.
Oh.
Okay.
So when I got home that weekend, she said to me, Stephanie, I had a little bit of problem with your car. And I said, what kind of problem? And she said, well, maybe you ought to just go start her up.
Yeah.
So I went out
If
there.
you can find it.
Yeah.
I started it up, I put it in gear, and I hit the gas, and nothing happened.
Exactly. It won't move.
It won't move at all.
Oh, I got the whole. I have the whole picture. She is trying to attribute this problem that the car currently has with the fact that your drive shaft fell out and you didn't replace it. Where we all know that Mom, who's accustomed to driving an automatic transmission car, burned out your clutch.
No.
That's what I was worried about.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
Did you take it out of four-wheel drive?
She said that she took it out of four-wheel drive, but she's never driven a four-wheel drive vehicle before in her life. I don't even know how she engaged four-wheel drive. How could she if it wasn't there?
Where is that device?
In front of the house.
Exactly.
No. Where's the little lever that goes from four-wheel drive to two-wheel drive?
It's in two-wheel drive now.
Exactly.
It makes no difference what position it is. The car won't move because Mom lunched the clutch.
Oh,
I think
Mommy.
that's the crux of the problem here.
Well, but if it were in four-wheel drive...
It wouldn't make any difference. What happened to Stephanie's car is that the back piece of the drive shaft fell out.
Right.
Okay? So when Mom put it in four-wheel drive, the little light came on. I mean, the transfer case doesn't know that the shaft is missing.
And the inside of the shaft started spinning, but there was nothing for the spinning to go to.
Because it's not connected to the rear wheels anymore.
Right.
Because that second piece of the drive shaft is missing. But that didn't burn out the clutch. What burned out the clutch was her inability to drive a manual shift car. Does she typically drive an automatic?
Oh, yeah, she drives a Volvo, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, those Volvo drivers, they're animals. Well, it may be the case that your clutch, as you mentioned, was already on the way out.
Well, it was weak. It was still running though. You just had to, baby it a little and.
What do you mean it was weak? Describe weak.
You mean it was slipping?
Okay, yeah, exactly. When you would go, you put it in gear and you'd hit the accelerator.
Yeah.
The engine
would not accelerate quickly, and you could hear the car
revving
watch the odometer go and it'd fly up and go down again. And you'd have to back off a little.
It was done for before you gave her the keys.
Yeah.
She just finished it. She finished it. She applied the coup de grace.
Well, she probably sat there trying it several times, trying to get it to go, and that's it.
Yeah. Did she call you up at some point and ask you what that smell is when you try to drive the car?
No, I think that was categorized under I had a small problem.
I had a small problem. Yeah, but she's not responsible at all. She's not responsible at all. I mean, she
wait a minute. Has she offered to kick in a little bit for the replacement of the clutch?
No, and I've been told I'm looking at about $600.
Oh, yeah.
Do you mean that if we gave the appropriate answer, you might be able to actually convince her to kick in $300 of the $600?
Well, all I know is that when I left the car there, it ran. And when I got home,
it didn't.
It didn't.
I mean, if we were to give the appropriate answer, even if it were wrong, would you think it was ethical to get Mom to kick in $300? I mean, we could easily say she lunched your clutch and she clearly should pay the whole $600 because the thing was perfect when you left it.
And she'll protest.
It ran.
And she'll give you $3. Is that what you want?
That's exactly
what
I want.
You want a letter from us?
Sure, I'd love one.
That would be an outright lie, on the other hand, because, I mean, you could compare this, for example, to someone who is in the last stages of life, a 105-year-old person with every single thing wrong with his body.
Right, and he happens...
And he happens to stay at your house for the weekend and
you push him down a flight of stairs.
No, he drops dead. Now, is his mother going to come and give you a hard time and say, you killed my little boy, my 105-year-old boy? No, the guy was dead practically when he got there, as was your clutch. It was a pure coincidence that it happened to happen when you went downstate.
It had nothing to do with her putting it in four-wheel drive.
No.
And driving it around.
No.
And even if it did.
Even if it did, she's your mother, for God's sakes.
Yeah, and Christmas is coming, and don't you want a present?
Fork over the $600. The clutch was lunched before you even gave her the car.
Yeah.
So we can't, in all good conscience, blame your mother in the slightest.
No, as a matter of fact, she may have, in fact, done you a favor.
Oh, no.
Because had she not burned the clutch out, you might have been tempted to drive it that last time, and you might have gotten stuck far away from home, right, with a clutch that didn't work, and you would have incurred a huge tow charge.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's exactly true. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind about it.
All right. To make amends, buy your mother some flowers
and thank her
profusely
for saving you from a horrible weekend.
All right. Well, thanks, you guys.
See you, Stephanie.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 888-CAR TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, fellas. This is Mike in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Hi, Mike.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
What's happening in Cedar Rapids?
Well, they say winter's about here.
Yeah, it's here too.
No, it isn't. It isn't here yet.
Any minute.
It's true. Any minute, winter will be here. But for the time being, it has been magnificent. It has been magnificent in the great Northeast.
Unseasonably warm.
Right, which is usually followed by weather that's unseasonably cold. Anyway, Mike, what can we do for you?
Well, they tell us it snows just around the corner, and I have a problem with my snowblower.
Yeah, I am an expert. What kind is it? Aaron's, Honda, you name it. I can fix any snowblower east of the Mississippi. Where are you from? Oops. What's wrong with it?
I have a snapper snowblower with an electric start, and its problem is when it gets cold, it will not start or run.
Oh. Does it,
It
does
cranks.
it crank?
Oh, yes, with the electric start, it'll crank just as fast as if it was running, but it will not run on its own.
You know? Oh, it won't run on its own at all.
Not at all.
In other words, the engine will turn over as long as you're applying the electric start motor to it.
Right.
But it won't fire up.
Right.
Yeah, but it runs in warm weather?
Yes.
Hate to break it to you, Mike. You have no compression.
But it's a year old.
You have plenty of compression.
No, you may not have compression.
Jeez.
Is there any oil in it?
Oh, yes. It's a two-cycle.
Well, let me tell you a little story.
Does this story involve your wife?
Involves my son.
Oh.
last winter, because of all the snow we had, I decided I didn't want to go out every night, because it snowed like every night last winter, with my Sears and Roebuck behemoth snowblower. So I went out and I bought a new, wonderful little Toro a power snow shovel, a gasoline-powered snow shovel. And it's this thing that you can actually lift up and just throw into a big snowbank, and it'll just eat right through it. And it's a 2-cycle engine. Is this a 2-cycle engine?
Yes.
Mike just said that. Are you having brain fever today?
Huh? This is a 2-cycle engine?
Yes, it is.
Well, anyway, I entrusted it to my 12-year-old. I said, Andrew, whenever it snows, this is your job. And the thing was brand new, and it was filled up with the gasoline with the requisite mix of gas and oil. Well, he used it that first snowstorm while I was at work, and he used up all the gas. And he went and put gas in it that didn't have the oil in it from another can. And he ran the snowblower all day with this other gas in it.
Ooh.
This thing doesn't start for beans now.
Start? I don't wonder it even moves.
It's very difficult to start, and I have to take it in the house and leave it in the kitchen. And when I do that, it starts up, and then I take it outside. So that's what you have to do, Mike.
But that's what the dealer told me. They said it had to go inside.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll start fine in August, but I don't have any snow in August.
Well, you can start it in August and leave it running. Great minds, you know.
My wife says it doesn't match the furniture.
Well, what the hell kind of a snowblower is it that you have to bring inside to start up?
It's kind of silly.
No, I mean,
not have it run.
There's clearly something wrong with it. And what's wrong with it may be the same thing that's wrong with mine.
Yeah, you fried it.
I didn't fry it. Andrew fried it.
Andrew fried it, but he did fry it.
And you may have fried yours, Mike, by putting gasoline in there that did not have oil in it.
Oh, no, I don't do that.
Or the right amount of oil. But have you taken it back to complain?
Yes, it's been to the dealer a couple of times. And they told me it was too cold for it to run.
Oh, they're nuts. They're absolutely nuts.
It's a snowblower. It should run in
It's a
cold
snowblower. Does the lawnmower only run in the winter?
No, but they probably have one down that would do that.
They probably do.
No, you definitely have low compression. Yeah. And if you are sure that, in fact, you didn't run the thing without oil, then this engine was no good from the beginning.
Right from the start.
And they owe you an engine or at least a piston.
They owe you something. And I would
or just park it in the house.
Just park it in the house, but don't take no for an answer.
Good luck.
Okay.
See you later.
Thanks a lot, fellas.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well,
man.
It happened again. You have squandered another perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug the Subway Fugitive, not a slave to fashion, Bongo Boy Berman. Our associate producers are David the Calves of Belleville Green and Catherine Frau Blucher Fenolosa. Our web lackey is Doug the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Britchford. Our engineer is John Cartman Perotti. Our theme music is by David Dog Grisman. And our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor, just back from the Khyber Pass, striped bass, wheatgrass, demi-tasse, and pheasant underglass, world-class gorge and gas, is John Bugsy Lawler. Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Margin of Error. Our customer care representative is Haywood Jabuzoff. Our staff bicycle tester is Maya Sertz. Our press secretary is Don B. Zonozzi. Our appointment secretary is Amadeus O. Early. Our anger management counselor, oh no, she's not in there yet. Our marine forecaster is Caesar Choppy. Our Russian chauffeur is Peekoff and Dropoff. The Paint Diaz family has the week off.
Yeah.
But the head of our working mother support group is Erasmus B. Dragging. Our chief counsel from the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe is Ulysses Dewey, known to the migratory craftspeople, setting up holiday stalls in Harvard.
Of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though hearing aid salesmen are consumed by guilt whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Data IQ, an artificial intelligence platform committed to bringing